A histrionic typer craves attention and recognition. Emotions are intense but superficial, and behavior is demonstrative. From childhood, such people get used to others noticing and admiring them. This person tends to dramatize events, manipulate others' emotions, and strives for impressive behavior. They are easily recognized by their bright manner of dressing, active gesticulation, and expressive speech. How does this manifest? A young person with a histrionic personality will loudly tell stories about their incredible adventures in a group, exaggerating and embellishing facts just to evoke admiration. Defense mechanisms: regression, returning to childish behaviors such as being capricious, denial, ignoring inconvenient facts. Examples: Marilyn Monroe, talented but vulnerable, dependent on attention. Psychopathic, antisocial type, acts without regard for moral norms and the feelings of others. Such people are manipulative, cruel, often lie, and can appear charming. In childhood, psychopaths often show cruelty to animals, do not feel guilt, and may enjoy having power over others. A man with an antisocial type can deceive people, rob them, or even commit violence without remorse. He does not feel remorse, and if caught, he will not admit guilt, but rather blame others. Defense mechanisms: denial of guilt. A psychopath never feels guilty. Rationalization, explaining his actions with cold logic. Examples: Hannibal Lecter is calculating, cruel, but intelligent. Patrick Bateman, an American Psycho, a charismatic but emotionless killer. Manic type: this person is an inexhaustible source of energy, ideas, and enthusiasm. He is always on the move, constantly talking, making grand plans, and infecting others with his optimism. It seems he has an endless supply of strength and confidence. Since childhood, such people stand out for their activity, talkativeness, and love of adventure. They easily get carried away, but just as easily abandon what they started. They find it boring to live by a schedule. They seek novelty and often take risks. A manic person can come up with a business idea in one evening, start implementing it, persuade friends to invest, and a week later forget about it and switch to something new. Isania. His speech is rapid, thoughts jump around, he constantly experiences euphoria and doesn't notice when he crosses the line. Such a person might suddenly go on a trip, quit a job without a plan, or start a major project without even thinking through the details. Defense mechanisms: denial. A person does not realize the danger of their actions. Reactive formation, suppression of anxiety through excessive activity. Narcissistic type. Note: a narcissistic personality is confident in their uniqueness, but deep inside fears being insignificant. As such a person seeks admiration, cannot tolerate criticism, and may devalue others. A narcissist can appear charismatic and self-assured, but their self-esteem is unstable. It depends on the opinions of others. If he is praised at Asamya, Andasamba, Amishazai, Horistai, he feels on top of the world, but the slightest criticism can cause him anger or resentment. Defense mechanisms: devaluation, reducing the significance of others' achievements. A projection: the narcissist attributes their own shortcomings to others. Paranotype C, Ozolf, Aquaurit Tezio, and builds her life around the idea that the world is full of threats and hidden motives. Samoka: such a person is suspicious, easily sees conspiracies where there are none, and always expects a catch. Now they are extremely with distrust and conviction in their own rightness. From an early age, paranoid people learn not to trust those around them. Perhaps their childhood was associated with deception or betrayal, leading to the development of heightened vigilance. They have difficulty accepting criticism, often see it as a personal attack, and may retaliate for real or imagined grievances. Defense mechanisms: projection. Their own negative feelings are attributed to others. For example, if a paranoid person feels hostility, they will be convinced that it is others who hate them. Intellectualization. Everything is explained logically, but without emotional understanding. Masochistic type. This type is characterized by a desire to care for others even at their own expense. Such people often choose professions related to helping: healthcare workers, volunteers, social workers. They may remain in difficult toxic relationships because they unconsciously seek situations where they can suffer. Main defense mechanisms: identification with the aggressor. Samata space. A person accepts suffering as the norm. Suppression of their own desires. They feel shame if they want something for themselves. A typical example could be Sonia Mamaladova from Crime and Punishment. She endures humiliation, sacrificing herself for the sake of her family. Schizoid type. This is someone who feels a deep detachment from the surrounding world. They live in their inner space, where their thoughts, fantasies, and intellectual constructs reign. Such a person can be extremely talented in the fields of science, art, or philosophy, but at the same time experiences significant difficulties in interpersonal relationships. A schizoid personality often seems cold, indifferent, or even arrogant to others, but in reality this is due to an inability to easily engage in emotional contact. Defense mechanisms. The schizoid prefers isolation. He minimizes contact with others if they cause him discomfort. Another important mechanism is retreating into fantasies. He can live in a world of his own thoughts and ideas, not noticing reality. A vivid literary example is Sherlock Holmes. He is not interested in social connections, but possesses outstanding intelligence. Another example is Franz Kafka, whose works are filled with a sense of isolation and alienation. Depressive type. Prone to feelings of guilt, self-reflection, and constant anticipation of loss. From an early age, he learns that the world is a place where happiness is fragile and unstable, and love can easily disappear. He always has the feeling that he is not good enough, that he somehow bothers or disappoints others. Such people often strive to care for others, yet feel emotionally drained themselves. A depressive personality is also characterized by high empathy. They are sensitive to others' experiences and can keenly perceive others' moods. However, her problem is that she fixates too much on her failures and constantly doubts herself. The main defense mechanism is introjection. A person unconsciously takes the blame for everything happening around them. For example, if a friend is in a bad mood, a depressive personality might think, "I probably said something wrong." Another mechanism is the suppression of aggression. Depressed people rarely express their negative emotions because they fear losing the love of those around them. Obsessive-compulsive type. This person tends toward perfectionism, rigid thinking, and fear of making a mistake. He spends a huge amount of energy controlling his thoughts, actions, and the surrounding reality. He may double-check his work several times, stay late at work because everything must be perfect. If such a person is planning a trip, he will make a detailed list of things, check the weather forecast, and prepare routes in advance. Inside him, there is a struggle between the desire to relax and the fear that if he does, something will go wrong. Main defense mechanisms. Rationalization explains his anxiety with logical arguments. Isolation of affect. Emotions are separated from events. Hermione Granger from Harry Potter is an example of a moderate obsessive-compulsive type. She worries about grades, constantly strives to control everything, and fears failure. If you want to discuss this video or suggest an idea for the next one, join to my channel